Okay, you're on the cloud week before Christmas. We'll start out with an announcement that you guys are all going to get an email about, and that is that, this year, and I thought I sent this out earlier, but I didn't. So this year, um, we usually have a holiday get together thing, and this year it was like everybody is scrambling so bad to try and get ready for the holidays, and the fact that the holiday falls in the middle of the week, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it's just chaos. So we decided to do something a little bit different, and that is we're going to wait to get through the holidays, and then we're going to have our holiday thing, which will be more like a year end, year start thing instead. And I think that that's just going to be a lot better for everybody because honestly, trying to squeeze in one more thing before trying to get everything else done just becomes another stressful thing. And that way, I hope everybody's through it. Everybody will feel more comfortable attending. We'll be able to breathe a little bit. It'll be good. So we're in the middle of that, the planning for that. What we're probably going to do is pick like a halfway point from county hub of Placer and county hub of Sacramento. Pick a halfway point and make it easier for everybody to get there that way, and we'll do a thing. So you get more information on that later. So what I want to talk about today is um, what I want to talk about today is especially now it you've heard the adage, or we all know, okay, if we're in business, we have to invest in our business, we have to spend money to make money, for lack of a better term. It is really, really hard, I think, to try and figure out when to spend it and where to spend it. There's so many options now, most of them bad. Sorry, vendors of the world. Most of them bad, that it gets really, really confusing about where to spend money. Couple that with the fact that for the past 2 years, it's been a really challenging real estate market in general. And for example, I don't know that it was such a good idea to spend money on seller leads before when probably 75% of the sellers that would typically be in a market were out of the market. I don't know if it was a good idea necessarily to spend money on buyer leads before because people weren't buying houses, right? I mean, it's been that way for a couple of years. So it gets difficult and challenging to recommend to somebody, hey, go spend a bunch of money on buyer leads, for example, when, I think that 60% of who might be a home buyer was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to wait for whatever reason. Um, there's things shifting now and things changing, and they have been for about 6 months that make me still, I continue to be bullish about 2026 in a way that's much, much better than 2024, 25. I think it's going to be a much better market. I think a lot of good things are going to kind of come back and make it better for all of us. And so I think it's time to start thinking about, hey, look, how do I best invest in my business? If you're not investing some kind of capital into your business, into growth, then what you're really doing is counting on luck and whatever minimal amount of stuff that you might be putting out there to grow your business. And I'm not discounting what we have available to us because it is massive, right? We have a great CRM that allows us to communicate with people inside of our sphere on a regular basis in a quality way, and it does a really good job. Okay. It's wonderful. But again, those are people that we already know or that we already have contact with. We're not adding to that pile by doing that. I mean, we are a little bit, right? Oh, but Damian, you always talk about I market to Steve, right? Chad, come on in. I market to Steve, and Steve already knows me. But Chad, how you doing? Good to see you. I market to Steve, but Steve already knows me, but Steve's going to tell Michael about me, and I get growth that way. And that's absolutely true, right? That's the best way to grow. But we're not adding significant amounts of leads by doing that. That's kind of slow growth, important growth stuff that is critically important. And if you don't manage it and if you don't do it, you're really missing the boat and you're costing yourself long-term business and you got to do it. But I want more business now, right? I want more business now. So if you get into the point where you're saying, I want more business now, or I want more business within 60 days, or I want to accelerate the growth curve of my business, then you have to start talking about, all right, how am I going to spend money, or how am I going to invest in that to make that happen in a significant way? And that's hi Shelby, good to see you. We were just talking about your short sale.
Oh,
Uh,
you were
yeah.
so
And
fun.
that's what we're talking about here, right? How do I decide if to spend, where to spend, how to spend, and how much to spend? So what I've compiled is, in my mind, the top four places to spend your money. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a huge disclosure here. I am not telling you to go spend money, number one. Okay. Number two, I am not saying that these are the best ways to spend your money. If you do a bunch of research and you do a bunch of identifying of advertising avenues and you find something better, that is great. All right. Um, and number three, you don't have to do any of it, right? If just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean you have to do anything. My only goal here is to try and cut some of the noise down so that if you say, hey, I'm thinking about spending some money, maybe check these four spots first, and then please do your own research. Now, I will tell you this. There's been some pretty exhaustive research on a few of these items. I mean, Brendan and I look at lead gen. I mean, we haven't done it in a couple of months because I think we were both over it. But Brendan and I look at lead gen at a brokerage level with agents in mind, like every week. Okay. We have talked to more people and seen more presentations than I ever care to remember. Right. Segue, we're going to talk about lead gen first. Right. So we've kind of run that through the ringer. Okay. Some of the other stuff is based on industry research that I do a lot of. I know Brendan does a lot of too, but industry research. And overall, my when I say I think something's good, you always need to kind of run it through this filter. Damian looks at long-term sustainable growth for a business first. Okay? It might not be the big splash, you know, immediate impact kind of thing, although that's what Legion's supposed to do. But most of the stuff that I will talk to you about is long-term sustainable growth that's going to grow your business over time in a significant way and is repeatable. Okay. That's what's important to me. It's repeatable, right? So if I'm going to spend my money, it should pay me now and it should pay me always. That's the way I feel about it. All right. So we got those disclosures out of the way. Let's talk about lead gen. Okay. Let's talk about lead gen. And the reason that I'm going to talk about this is I think that 2026 might be a good time to start spending money on buyer lead gen again if you have it in the budget and you want to work with buyers, right? There's a million of them out there, and everybody always defaults immediately to Zillow and Realtor.com, right? Zillow and Realtor.com. I'm going to tell you why I don't like either one of them anymore. Now, I haven't spent any money on lead gen from Zillow or Realtor.com in probably 6 years, but I do know somebody quite well. Is he here? Let me see. He is not here. Who has? And you guys all know him, Alan in our office. All right, he does a lot of business. Okay, he's been a Zillow subscriber and a Realtor.com subscriber for years. He can tell you the same story that I would, which is that back in the day or when this thing all started, it was wonderful. I know Steve worked in an office before that was a huge Zillow subscriber, and there was a point in time when it didn't matter how much money you gave Zillow, it would come back to you, right? It would come back to you. I think I've told you guys some of this, but there was a point in time when I was still brokering in Grass Valley where I paid Zillow $10,000 a month willingly because it didn't matter. The more money that I gave them, the more money that came back, and it was wonderful. Realtor.com is a similar story. It is not that way anymore. I'll leave it at that. right? The lead count is down, the lead quality is way down, and I don't know what the conversion rate is now, but it's got to be way below 1%. Way below 1%. You will get a lot of inquiries. You will get a lot of quote unquote leads. You will feel like, whoa, something is going on. Okay, but ultimately, at the end of the day, for me, it's about conversion. I would rather chase three really good leads than 15 marginal ones, right? Think about the time involved. Think about your energy. Think about the money involved in that. It just doesn't make any sense. So out of all the lead gen research that we've done, I have two favorites. Okay, and these are both buyer leads. I have two favorites. The first one is Bold Trail. And I'm going to talk about two, and one is not better than the other in my mind. All right. Bold Trail. Bold Trail, our CRM, runs a lead gen program based on internet ads, that would be social media and Google, okay, that go into a funnel and end you up with a lead. Now, where it's different than some of the other lead providers is whenever a lead comes into the funnel, okay, they have an inside sales department that qualifies it. All right. So when the lead comes in, it doesn't go to you first. The first stop it makes is in their inside sales department. They run it, they vet it, they qualify it, then they send it to you. Okay. The difference is that you know when that lead hits, this is a long-term lead. I'm going to throw it in my CRM and nurture it. This is a warm lead. They're thinking pretty hard about what's going on. I need to step up my game a little bit. This is a hot lead. They want to buy a house in the next 30 days. I am on it. Right? That's a huge advantage compared to traditional buyer leads. They have a pretty good amount that comes in. You can handle, you could, depending on your budget, you can count on probably 5 to 10 a month, okay, that are warm to hot. Okay, 5 to 10 a month that are warm to hot, another 15 or 20 that are probably nurtured. Okay, all good stuff, right? Reminder Media, they're the magazine folks. Reminder Media, they source their leads in a similar way. It's internet ads, it's social media, it's Google. Okay. They also run a funnel. Okay. Their funnel is an AI chatbot that is really, really cool. Okay. When a lead comes into their funnel, it drops into the bot. The bot starts talking to them in a very human way. Okay. You get notified immediately that the bot is talking to somebody. And I'm not clear on this if it's text message or app based. I'm not 100% clear. But at that point, you start following along in the conversation. Okay. You're not jumping into the conversation, you're just following along in the conversation. I'll go two different scenarios. The first one is this is a clear tire kicker, it's not going anywhere. You know what? Let the bot run it to whatever, let the bot do it to whatever, and then throw them in your CRM and throw them on nurture and call it a day. The second one is you notice that as following along in the conversation, the bot is showing you this person's pretty darn serious. You can jump in anytime, right? The bot's got a name. I don't remember what it is. Let's say it's Eleanor. It's been thinking about cars today. Okay. So you can jump in anytime and say, hey, it's me, Damian. I know you've been talking to Eleanor. I wanted to jump in and introduce myself. Let's start a different conversation. Right. Again, pretty good lead quantity, somewhere around 5 hot, 10 cold a month. Now the bad news, each of these programs, or I don't know if it's bad news or not. The I don't want to hold the price hostage. Each of these programs is going to cost you somewhere around $500 a month. Okay. Now before you completely freak out. Okay. Before you completely freak out, $500 a month times 12. How much is that? Somebody, one of you mad scientists, if I spend $500 a month and I do it for 12 months, how much have I spent in a year?
Let's see, 6,000.
6 grand. All right. 6 grand. Okay. Um, how many houses do you have to sell to pay for that for a year? Generally
One,
speaking, less than,
barely one.
yeah, one pays for
Half
it.
of one.
One pays for it all, guys. Okay. So when you start to say, hey, no way I'm spending that money, you need to run it through the filter that we always talk about, which is all right, if I spend that money, how many units do I have to sell to pay for the whole dang year? If it comes back to one or less, you got to ask yourself a question. Am I good enough if I've got these kinds of leads coming in? If I've got these kinds of leads coming in and they're and Damian's correct and the conversion rate is fairly decent and the leads are warm, am I going to sell one house in 12 months off of this thing? Probably. Okay, probably. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that you have to spend the money, and if you don't have the money, it's hard to spend. I get it. All right, I get it. But this is what we're talking about. If you think, well, maybe now is a good time to spend, at least we've done a whole lot of legwork to say, look, if you're thinking about spending money on lead gen, these are our favorite two. Okay, these are our favorite two. Because if you try to go to realtor.com or Zillow and you want to buy a zip code, it's going to cost you more than that. Okay. And that's going to be the kind of leads that we talked about. Okay. Last time I checked, if you wanted to buy Zillow, and who we got here, Sacramento's going to be worse, but if you wanted to buy Zillow anywhere in Placer or Nevada County, it was like 1,200 a month. Okay. And that was for their kind of entry level bottom tier program. All right. So lead gen, buyers, check those two items out, make those at the top of your list. If you need help deciding who to talk to at Reminder, or if you need help on how to pursue it in Bold Trail, let me know. I'll point you in the right direction. You can find out all about it. You and I can talk about some questions to ask, a list of questions that you might want to have to get comfortable, some things that you might not think of that I think are important. And then you can analyze and you can decide, is this for me or not? Okay, is this for me or not? Why do I think, real quickly before we move on, why do I think that it might be a good time in 2026 to to finally spend money on buyer leads? Because I think people are going to buy more houses in 2026. I think that the market, as far as buyers are concerned, and their mentality is going to loosen up, and you can actually make money buying lead gen and selling houses. I think you can do that. Okay. I've been wrong before, but this is not one of those times. All right. Number two, if you're not spending any money now and you were to say to me, Damian, where's the first place I would spend money? You're going to hear this come up a lot. Reminder Media, printed magazine to your sphere of influence. If you're not spending any money right now and you say, where's the first place that I'm going to spend money? It's right there. That is the coolest, most effective thing that you can do for $5 a copy. Okay. It costs $5 a copy. You have to do a minimum of 50. Their maximum mailing is every 60 days. Okay. And you absolutely positively cannot lose. Okay. You can't lose. If I said I want you to start taking care of your sphere of influence, okay, I want you to start spending some money on your sphere of influence so that they remember who you are and so that they recommend you to their friends and their family and their neighbors and everything else. I challenge you to find a way to do that that's lasting and effective for less than $5 every 60 days. You can't do it. You can't do it. I mean, hell, you could tell me that you were going to buy them a Starbucks gift card for $5 every 60 days, and it's way less effective because I don't even know, unless you just drink straight espresso, I don't even think a $5 gift card can get you a drink at Starbucks. Like, gee, thanks, Michael, for the half a latte. What a guy. Right? For $5 every 60 days, you're on their coffee table for 60 days, staring at them every day. They're looking at you and you're looking at them, whether they even know it or not. You're saying, hi, it's me, Jessica. Remember me? Okay. Not only that, but when they have people over, which people do, when they have people over, they will look at the magazine because the cover is something that is attractive to people in that wheelhouse. It's about houses, or it's about what was mine about this month? The festive table decorations. I don't know. Okay. If you're not spending a dime right now and you're like, where do I start spending money to grow my business? You start right there because it's cheap and it's easy and you can grow it, you can shrink it, you can pause it. Okay. Some people are like, I don't want to do it uh, every 60 days, Damian. I'm going to do it every 3 months. Fine. Okay. That's fine. Do it. Okay. That's the first place you spend money. All right. If you want to know more about that, you let me know. I'll point you in the right direction. If you want to challenge me on that, please do. I'd love to have that challenge. I'd love to find out how you can do a better job with the people in your book of business for $5 every 60 days. I'd love to know about it because then I can cancel the magazine and I can do that instead. Okay. You're not going to find it. All right. Number three, Google. Do you guys see the headline about a week ago? Google is getting into home search. Yes, they are. Okay. So I know what you're thinking right away. You're thinking, oh, Damien wants me to spend money on Google Home Search. No, I don't. I don't. I want you to spend time and possibly money on Google itself. Okay. And here's what I mean. I want you to spend time to actually go through and make sure that you have a legitimate Google profile that is verified by Google, that has an independent URL attached to it. Okay. Let me give you the quickest example. My Google profile, even though my email is Gmail and I run my business on Google, okay, my email address doesn't say gmail.com, right? It says batista.group. All right. So I want you to get to the point where you have an independent URL, even if it's a Google URL, you have an independent URL that doesn't say gmail.com, right? Then I want you to have an actual legitimate Google profile with photos, videos, posts, reviews, the whole nine yards. Okay, I want you we talked about this a year ago. I want you to lean hard into Google and make it a priority because when Google dives into home search, which they're going to do, when they start directing consumers for home search, they're gonna tie agents to it because that's the next question. All right. Those of you that are ahead of the Google curve with Google profile and reviews and all of those things that I have said are critically important, you're going to the top of the pile. Okay. You're going to the top of the pile. If you're not there, you're just not going, right? We all know how Google works. When Google says, hey, I want a real estate agent, it goes out and it looks for one. Okay. When it finds some that it feels are legitimate, it brings them forward. It's that simple, right? If it's me against real estate agent that doesn't follow my program and doesn't have that solid Google profile, I win every time. I do. Okay. If it's me versus someone doing a better job on Google, I probably don't win. Okay. But you got to start somewhere and you got to do it now because as Google accelerates into home search during 2026, there's going to be a rush. All these real estate agents that have been poo-pooing Google for years and years and years, and I don't know why you do that, by the way, but they've been poo-pooing Google are going to be like, oh crap, I guess I should get my stuff together. And I guess that I should, get up to speed on this. Once you have a Google Pro, aside from that, Aside from that, once you have a Google profile and you're in a position to be a legitimate Google business, you can run Google ads and they will place you strategically with things that have to do with real estate. And that's a good way to develop business aside from Google search, right? Aside from Google search. Hang on a sec. Oh, he's back. Hang on. What's going on, man? Yeah, well, I'm on a meeting, but that's okay.
Okay, I was just gonna drop this off for you.
Okay, cool.
You guys do, is it residential?
Residential. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you know anybody that needs, commercial property management, that's everything we do, management and maintenance.
Good stuff.
And if you wanna talk more, we can chat, I know you're
Yeah,
busy.
for
So
sure.
We're, me and the other guy here in and out fixing stuff. I think I fixed it.
Okay.
There's cracks above the window seal. If it continues, I'm gonna caulk more around all the exterior, but there was for sure a spot across the whole front of the window, so let us know if it keeps happening.
Gotcha. I
All right.
appreciate you.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, I'm back. So, Google Ads, right? Aside from home search, if you want to grow your business and you want to get in front of more people and you have a Google profile set up and you're dialed in on that, you can run Google Ads in general and you can expand your reach on Google. So when people search for real estate agents or when they search for homes or whatever, there you are, you're popping up, and that is good money spent. Okay? Anything on Google is good money spent, especially now that they're going to veer into home search, right? Definitely. Okay, one more for you. One more for you. And that is homes.com. Okay? I know you guys are all getting beat to death with email from homes.com. Okay? If you've paid attention, roughly 3 years ago, you started seeing homes.com ads all over the place. Okay. They did a Super Bowl commercial, right? They decided, look, we want to take over the real estate search engine market, right? They're now number two. Okay. They're now number two. They just passed realtor.com as the number two real estate or search engine in the world. We all know who's number one. Okay. But they're number two. Now, let me be clear. If you never do a listing, homes.com is probably not for you. All right. Homes.com, and all of the benefits that you get from it, rely heavily on you listing property. Okay. So if you never do a listing, homes.com is probably not for you. It's not going to work. All right. But we're going into a brand new year. And if it's your goal to not do a listing, you might want to question what it is that you're doing in this business. All right. Everybody's goal, every agent's goal should be to generate and procure listings, right? Listings fixes a lot of problems. All right. Listings develops a business quicker than a pool of buyers. I know there's buyers agents out there in the world that are going to fight me on this, and that's fine. All right. But in my opinion, there's a motto or a saying in real estate, you got to list to last. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you. So if we know, look, if we're going to be in this business, we've got to be in the property listing business, right? And your goal is to say, I'm going to do listings this year, then this program would benefit you even if today you don't have any listings, right? Because keep in mind with all these programs, you don't get to do it month to month. Okay. You don't get to do it month to month. Generally speaking, you're talking about a minimum of a 6 month commitment. And in a lot of cases, it's a minimum 12-month commitment. Okay. So If Michael says, I don't have any listings today, but I'm going to do three in the whole calendar year of 2026, well, then, homes.com is a good option for what he's going to do because he knows he's going to do some listings. He knows he's going to work on procuring them. He knows he's going to do it. This is a very, very detailed program, and I'm going to send you an email with a video from Joe, a little bit more about the program. Okay. But I want you to know that I met with him today for an hour and a half virtually, which is one of the longest meetings I'll ever take. All right. But we were on a call for an hour and a half, a Zoom call for an hour and a half, really breaking down the system. I asked a lot of questions. I asked a lot of questions with you guys in mind, right? Talk to me about how this works for somebody that's producing a lot of listing business. Talk to me about how this works for somebody who's a brand new agent. Talk to me about how this works for somebody who's got an agent with some experience, but they have only done buyers, they haven't done listings. Talk to me about how this stuff works. All right. And by the end of the conversation, I said, all right, good. Congratulations. You made the cut. You're on my list. You're number 4 on my list of where a good place to spend money is. All right. The first thing you need to know about homes.com when it relates to real estate agents is completely different from realtor.com and for Zillow. It's completely different. All right. The goal is different. The approach is different. Everything is different. Their number one thing that they're claiming to fame on, and I think it's a good benefit, is that when they advertise a listing, right? The only agent featured on the listing, the only agent that you can contact on the listing is the listing agent. Okay. That button that you click on Zillow or Realtor.com, like find out more, contact agent or whatever, when you click that button as a consumer, what happens is you go into a pool, right? All of their leads are shared, which means they send you and your personal info to at least 5 other real estate agents, and then it's speed to lead for them. The first one that calls you is the one that you're stuck with. Period. Okay? End of story. It's not that way. But Damian, you said you don't ever double into transaction. You're right. Absolutely. I don't. Right? I don't. But I'll tell you this. I would much rather have all that inquiry come to me and then me get to decide, you know what? I've talked to you. I've answered all of your questions. I've really qualified you as far as whether you're hot, warm, or cold. And at this point in time, since I don't double in transactions, I'm going to set you up with one of my agents who's going to take you the rest of the way. Okay? I'm much more comfortable sending that lead to one of you guys than I am them being in Zillow land, right? So that's the first major difference about the portals. The second thing is that they have agent profile pages just like Zillow and everybody else, but their agent profile pages are really well done. There's video involved. There's a lot more information. It does a really, really good job of promoting you as an agent. They also have neighborhood pages. Okay. So let's say that Steve signs up to be a homes.com subscriber. Now, they're going to look at Steve's business for the past 5 years, and anywhere that Steve has had a closing, Steve gets to be featured on that neighborhood page, right? So let's say he's done one in Auburn, one in Grass Valley, one in Nevada City, one in Sacramento, and one in El Dorado Hills. He's on all those pages as a featured agent. Okay. And when you have an appointment, you can learn more about the difference between a featured agent and a non-featured agent, but he's featured. Okay. And he will be round robin featured in the top spot for featured agents every, I don't know what the time is. I think it's every 30 minutes or something like that. Okay. So a really big deal. Somebody goes onto their portal and they say, I want to learn more about Nevada City. They click Nevada City. There's a beautiful spread on Nevada City with drone video, regular video, scrolling pictures, a bunch of different information, getting them charged about the community. And then you drop right down into featured agents and there he is. Okay. Pretty slick marketing. Okay. Number 3, this is really cool. Somebody goes to your homes.com profile, okay? They look you up as an agent. They look up Jessica, they click on her profile page. They don't even they don't enter contact me, they don't enter any of that. They just scroll, okay? Are you looking at it right now? Okay. You just retargeted yourself, Jessica. Now, I don't know if it works because it probably knows it's Jessica, but let's say that Michael finds Jessica's profile page, takes a look, scrolls a little bit, and then moves on with life. Michael, you've just been retargeted. Okay. When you're looking at fastcars.com or, you know, restaurant.com or whatever, you know those little ads on the side that just won't go away? You get to see Jessica some more. Okay. She's going to follow you around the internet now. All right. Homes.com's algorithm takes care of all that for you. When you're a subscriber, if anybody looks at your profile, they're getting stalked by you. Okay. Really cool deal. All right. Here's the other thing I like. You sign a listing, you put a listing on homes.com. Homes.com automatically sends your customer a big, like 10-page, full glossy color brochure that says, congratulations. This is all of the wonderful things that your agent is doing for you. Right. This is a really big deal to me because everybody, just about everybody knows what that platform is now because of their marketing, right? They know what that platform is now. When they get a super high quality marketing piece from the platform, not from me, from the platform that says, here's your agent, here's your beautiful listing, here's all of the things that we're doing for you and your agent is doing for you. Congratulations. That makes my client feel really good, right? Yeah, he's putting his money where his mouth is. I'm not just out here wondering whether or not my listing's getting syndicated. I'm not just out here wondering whether or not this platform really does care about my listing or not. It's real. Okay? It's all real. Really, really big thing. Matterport. For those of you that do Matterport on all your listings, congratulations. For those of you that don't do Matterport, if you're a homes.com subscriber, you get Matterport for free. It's free. You go into the portal, you say, as a subscriber, you say, I just listed this property. Here's the address. Here's the date that I want it done. You let them in. The Matterport crew comes out. They run Matterport. They put it on the homes.com website for you. It's done. Doesn't cost you anything. Matterport's expensive, folks. You've heard me talk about it in the past. You know it costs money, right? Some of you aren't doing it because you don't want to spend the money. It's free. It's included. Why? Well, because the parent company of Homes.com, CoStar, you guys familiar with the word CoStar? I'm not talking about the horoscope one. I'm talking about the real estate one. Okay? CoStar is like the biggest real estate conglomerate in the world. All right? They own Homes.com, Apartments.com, LoopNet, Matterport. There's more. All right? It's one giant company. So you get Matterport for free. All right? Digital marketing presentations. Every time you enter an address and upload let me back up a step. I'm going to go do a listing appointment, right? It's at 123 Main Street, right? I'm going to make my Damian NextHome book that he always talks about in Bold Trail, my seller presentation. I'm going to make that. I'm going to bind it. Okay. I'm also going to bring my iPad or my computer. Before I did that, I drove by and I took a picture and I uploaded it to my homes.com page and I said, make me a listing presentation, and they make it. Digital format. That's why you got to bring your computer or your iPad, right? Really, really slick. Talks about marketing, shows metrics, shows distribution, shows all this fancy, really expensive marketing stuff. So now I've got two things, right? You need to hire me because of what's in this book, number one. Number two, you need to hire me because this is what I am doing for you on the number two real estate search portal in the world. Feel free to scroll through this. Very, very slick. Very, very impressive. Highly, highly professional. Okay? This one you're really going to like too. As a subscriber, you're going to upload your email list. Okay. You're going to upload your email list. When you put on a new listing on homes.com, homes.com is going to take your email list and send them informational stuff and advertising. Damian just listed this property. Check out this new listing. Blah, 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 blah. It's all automatic. And again, everything that they do, I really, really like because it's very professional, it's very high quality, it's very modern, it's very current. All right. And everything they do will feature you and the property, right? None of the other portals are doing that. They feature the property, all right, and they leave you out of the equation because they want to sell the opportunity to sell your property to one of 5,000 agents that they spend 1,200 or that spend $1,200 a month to buy that lead. Okay? Now, if you want to play listing agent with one of them, you can do showcase, all right, which means that you get to put a video on the page and everything else, but they're still selling it, guys. They're still selling it. If you click the contact button, it's going to the farm. Okay? That's not using your listing to grow your business. This is using your listing to grow your business. It's not about double ending transactions. It's about growing your business in a very methodical, thought out, professional way. Okay? That's why I'm so charged up on that. But Damien, how much does it cost? This is the best part of all. Okay? You sign on for 6 months, it's $225 a month. You sign on for a year, it's $180 a month. It is cheap. To get all of that benefit for that cost is cheap. All right, one of you math whizzes again, give me $180 a month times 12. What's the number? 180 times 12. How much did I spend in a year? Somebody help me. Somebody come off mute and help me. Steve's going for it. I can see him reaching for the mouse.
2,100-ish, something like that.
Wow. $2,100. Let me put it because I'm going to go back to Damien. I don't do that many listings, and Damien, I'm not spending that much money a month. Okay, Damien, I don't do that many listings. Well, you should. And if you're going to go into this business year of 2026 and you're going to make an impact and you're going to impact your income in a significant way, you should be saying, hey, look, I'm going to do 3 listings. 3 listings in 2026. Okay. If you did 3 listings in 2026 and you spent $2,100 a month on all the stuff that I didn't even describe in detail, you're just going to have to trust me. It's awesome. Please set up some time with Joseph. Please learn more about it. Okay. Do you think that you would get one more sale, either buyer or seller, out of all of that? Just one in a year. One. Nod your head. If not, you're no good. Okay? Just one. All right? Just one. Nod your head. All right. We know the average commission in all of our markets right now. We know the average GCI on a transaction somewhere around 17 grand. You're going to keep somewhere around 15 grand. Somebody take 2,100 divided by 15,000 and tell me what the number is. Please. And thank you. 2,100 divided by 15 grand. What is it? No. Yeah. 2,100 divided by 15 grand. Give me the number. Give it to me. Don't make me do it myself.
14.4.
14.4. That's 14x. That's 14x on your investment with one sale. Now it's going to accelerate, but I'm going to do simple math.
Oh, sorry. 14.4% is what it is.
Yeah, that's 14x. Yep. So I bet that if you do 3 listings and you run this program, you get 3 more sales. 14 plus 14 is 28, plus another 14 is 32. Is that right? 32x. You cannot find a higher ROI proposition in real estate. You just can't. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to tell you that there's no data behind. Okay, no data behind it all. In their quest to become the number one search engine in the world, okay, they're fairly young in that quest. You with me? As they probably achieve their goal or come close to achieving their goal and become more effective, what happens? Does anybody know what happens? All businesses,
Synergy.
the prices to the user go up, the benefits go down, right? It's just like what we talked about with Zillow. What Zillow was versus what Zillow is now is completely different. Those of us that had the opportunity to take what Zillow was when it was young really reaped a benefit. It was good for Zillow too, but we really reaped a benefit. That's where I believe we are in the curve of homes.com now. We take advantage now, we really reap benefit. As time goes on and they are successful, and I'm going to assume that they are going to be successful because when you have a multi-billion dollar company behind you, you usually do well. Okay. The benefit to the end user will decrease because there will be more users that want to be involved. Right. Take a look at this. Schedule an appointment. Like I said, it might not be until tomorrow, but I'll send you an email with a video and contact information from Joseph. Watch the video, schedule a consult, learn about it, ask questions. If you don't know what questions to ask, let's talk. I'll get you prepped and find out if this is for you. Okay? That's it. I want to encourage you to take a hard look at what am I going to do in 2026 to try and augment what I'm already doing, i.e., am I going to spend money and how am I going to spend it? Okay. I want you to consider these things first. Okay. Lead generation, that would be Reminder Media and Bold Trail. Book of Business, SOI Nurture, that would be Reminder Media. Google, that would be Google. Okay. And homes.com. Those in my brain are your top four. You take a look at those, even if you decide I'm not spending a dime, I want you to take a look at those four things and learn more about it. Okay. Then I want you to go out and I want you to go crazy and research your own. Okay. And then I want you to take a real serious kind of soul searching trip and decide, should I do this? And then I want you to involve me independently. I want you to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? I'm going to challenge the living crap out of you as to whether you should do it. And if you do it, what are you committing to? Because with any of these things, except the magazine, with any of these things, once you spend the money, you also have to do the work. And if you can't commit to doing the work, don't spend the money. All right? Because you're just throwing it away. So I want you to go through that process. I want to talk about it. I don't let this take anywhere past the end of January, folks. Okay? Let's analyze this, please, and let's talk about this, please, if it's on your radar before the middle of January, because I want you to take off and have the whole year to deal with. If you wait until March or April, you're behind, and then don't do it. Okay? Let's work on it together. Let's see if we can't grow your business 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, whatever. I know that we can do it. Right? Questions, thoughts, anything? It's 57. I got to get you the heck out of here to not keep you listening to me all day. Plus, it's Thursday. We got football. What do you got? Anybody got anything?
Well, only that I noticed that the top agent in Nevada County is all over homes.com.
Yes, she is, and she was one of the first ones to jump on board. Uh, yeah, and I know her well. She was my agent before I was an agent. I've known her for 40 years. And yeah, she don't waste her money. I can tell you that. She's also, for those of you who are wondering, she's also in the top 10 of Century 21 agents in the world. The world.
The most annoying thing is she makes it look easy.
Does. She does. I asked her one time, not too long ago. Asked her one time, we talk every once in a while. I asked her one time, say, how's things going? She goes, it's a little slow. I go, how many listings you got signed? How many listing agreements you got signed? Right? That doesn't mean they're all on the market. That just means how many listing agreements do you have signed? And she thought about it for a second and said 82.
Yeah.
Oh, a little slow, huh? 82. All right. Anything else? Okay. You know where to find me. Put some thought and some work into this. I don't think that we'll be getting together next week because I believe that's Christmas Day, right? So stay tuned for the video that I said I'd send you about homes.com. Stay tuned for the details about our end of year, beginning of year get together. And if I don't talk to you before, have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I am grateful for all you guys. I'm clicking the button in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See y'all.